Hello, sweet friends! My name is Birdie, and I am your friendly neighborhood forest witch, and I'd like to wish everyone a blessed Lughnasadh, also known as Lammas. Now, if you're new to the craft, Lughnasadh is actually a Gaelic festival that marks the beginning of the harvest season, so it's that time between summer and fall. It's also the time where you start reaping those things that you sowed at the beginning of the year. Now, for me personally, and I'm not sure if I shared this or not, but I came up with an affirmation for 2024, and that is, I can do hard things. Now, at the end of 2023 and going into 2024, I was having such a hard time mentally, emotionally, physically. I put myself in a lot of debt because shopping made me feel better, and I really got myself in a pickle. And not only that, but the morning of New Year's Day, I was going to pick up my Mimi and Pawpaw. I get in my car, and it's cold out, of course, since it's January 1st. There's some frost on the back window, but not enough to where I needed to scrape it off. So I just got in the car, turned the defroster on, and I was literally at the light right by my house, and all of a sudden, the back windshield started crumbling in. I was like, what the heck is going on? So I drove back home, and obviously it was freezing because I didn't have a back window shield. And come to find out, people in my neighborhood were shooting off guns the night before for New Year's Eve, and a bullet was sitting right where the bottom metal part of the trunk touched the top part of the trunk was touching the bottom part of the window shield and completely shattered the whole thing. And it didn't start crumbling then until I was driving. So, of course, we filed a police report, and the police came out. Obviously, they're not going to be able to tell who did it, so we had to pay $500 the beginning of the year on top of all these other money problems that I had put us in. So that was not a great start to the year. So I don't know. I was just overwhelmed and stressed, and I knew that I would need to put a lot of work in. So not only shadow work and spell work and, things dealing with my craft, but also physical and mental and emotional work to repair all the damage that was internal and external. So, behind the scenes, this is something I hadn't shared, but back in, I believe it was, when was that? It might have been the end of January. I did a huge prosperity spell. One that took hours to complete. And at the end, it left me physically drained. It was that big of a spell. And going into it, I, of course, wanted to be able to pay off all of this debt that I had put my family in. But I also obviously wanted a resource from where the money was going to be coming from. Because at that point, my small business couldn't keep up with my debt. So in February, I actually interviewed for 2 libraries. The first one I didn't get, but I was actually second runner-up. And then applied for the second one, even though I was really discouraged that I didn't get that first one, because I think the interview, went really well. I still went ahead and applied for the second one, which actually ended up paying more money, was closer to where I lived, and just and that's where I currently am, and just turned out to be such a lovely position. So the spell worked. Obviously, that, like, I'd have to say, I don't know, because the one shadow work spell that I did was pretty big, but I don't know. Maybe they're a match of how powerful these two spells were. Just after I did that prosperity spell, everything just started lining up. Absolutely everything. So I got this job and I started part-time. And then all of a sudden a full-time position came open in the same library, and I got it. And like, I'm able to not only make the minimum payment on my debt, but also put extra on it. I've created a budget to where I can use the snowball effect and get it paid down quicker. I'm able to do extras for my family, like take them out to eat, buy them wants instead of needs. And I don't know, everything is just going swell. It's just going swell. I don't know how else to put it, but everything is just going according to plan, and it is so beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, obviously, I won't account my entire spell on making this happen. Obviously, I had to put in the footwork. I had to get out of my depressive state. I had to apply for these jobs. I had to do well in the interviews. And, you know, now I have to go to work each day and, you know, make sure that I do a good job. But it's all coming together. And even though I am exhausted, I am absolutely exhausted, y'all. It's a good exhaustion. I mean, yeah, I still have bad days. I still have mental breakdowns, I would say, but from going from having multiple mental breakdowns every week to only once in a blue moon now, I'd say that's an improvement. So, off that tangent box, in addition to that, I've also found abundance in my garden this year, and all my crops, well, the majority of them have been doing really well, and I'm super excited. I cannot wait to put in a second garden box, so I can plant even more next year. So I've been harvesting items and drying them. So even though I have to work on Lughnasadh, and in the past I did extravagant celebrations where I cooked full meals and I did spells and rituals and, you know, all kinds of things just to celebrate the Sabbath. And of course this year I can't because I work. So I've been trying to figure out smaller ways to still be present within the season and the Sabbath. So after work, the past couple days, I've been harvesting some herbs and drying my spearmint, stevia, and chocolate mint. I've been making yummy recipes with my cucumbers. I actually made a cucumber salad, which I'll show here. I've also been using my tea leaves to make yummy teas. Now, I know it's summertime, and I actually just recently shared a cold spearmint tea. So if you missed that video, I'll post it up above here. Definitely go check that out. So if you want to make a cold tea with your tea leaves, but this particular night, I was in the mood for a hot tea. So I made some chocolate mint stevia hot tea. And just sat down and journaled and wrote about gratitude, how grateful I am for all the mother's blessings this year. And I don't know, I'm gonna start crying, but just my complete 180 from the end of last year and the beginning of this year to where I am now. And I'm so proud of myself, y'all. I am so proud of myself. I went from not even being able to get out of bed to going to work 40 hours a week. It blows my mind. And I'm not saying that it's easy, because it definitely wasn't. It was really, really hard. And actually, I'm getting the chills because it's still hard. Like, especially being exhausted, that kind of wears on me. And I still have physical issues that I'm dealing with. And my pseudo tumor has actually gotten worse, and this morning I had to get blood work to try to figure out, solutions on how we can go about fixing this. And then next week I'll go back to the doctor and she'll tell me what my options are, and I'm honestly really scared about that. So I wanted to share these highs, but also these lows with all of you, because I know a lot of you had said that you really appreciate my bubbly, happy mood, and I just brighten your day, and I definitely want to bring that to you. But there's also others who can relate to mental illness and going through hard times. So I also want to bring that side back to my channel as well, because mental health awareness is very important. With having mental health run in my family, I know firsthand how important it is to seek help, whether that be therapy or meds or a mixture of both, or in the witchcraft practice, you doing shadow work or spells or, what have you. It's really, really hard. And then you add in other things like work and relationships and money or financial issues, physical health issues, and I know how hard those things can be, especially when you're trying to work on yourself. So I wanted to put that out there, that if you are struggling too, I understand. And even though the mother has blessed me with these certain blessings this year, that it hasn't been all butterflies and rainbows, that it is a daily grind. I don't even know the word to use, but it's a daily grind of, okay, my affirmation of the year, I can do hard things. And that is what I have been telling myself this entire year. I can do hard things. And some days, y'all, I don't know if I can do hard things. Particular days, I don't do hard things. You know, I just, like on the weekends, I am so exhausted from working 40 hours a week that I physically can't get out of bed because I am so exhausted. Now, I'm hoping that once I start getting used to working full time and I get all my physical illnesses in check, that those things will get better and I'll get more energy and things like that. But yeah, I definitely know the struggle for real. But I think I've went totally on a tangent here, but the whole point of this video was to share with you that Lughnasadh is the time to reap what you sowed back at the beginning of the year. So I went on a whole tangent of what I am now reaping from what I have sowed. So if you'd like to share with me those things that you are now reaping from what you've sowed at the beginning of the year, I would love to hear it, and I'm sure everybody else would too. So leave it down in the comments for us to chat about. But as always, thank you all so much for watching this video. Again, I'd like to wish you a blessed Lughnasadh, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, friends. Bye.